We are back. It has been too many weeks, far too many weeks. But we are back with Star Trek Europa. Got hopefully a good show planned today. I've got some good stuff, at least. I am your host, as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me at all the places that you would normally find me. There's a link tree in the various places. There's a new show that launched earlier today. Took me a little while to edit it, but it's a new show called Against Boredom, and pretty fun so far. So I'm looking forward to doing more with that. And I hope everyone enjoys that episode. Those are coming out once every other week, just so that I have time to do them. Other than that, I don't have much to add to the get-go here. Brian, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Ensign Elizabeth Page, along with other characters. You can find me on SETI Alpha 4, where I'm making sweet, sweet love to come.
This is SETI Alpha 5. Evelyn, go ahead.
I'm Evelyn. I'm playing Commander Dr. Dasavi Onayat. Forgot my own last name. You can find me at Caffeinatrix on TikTok, and you can also find me usually every other Sunday. That we're on a bit of a hiatus until May 1st over at St. Pete by Night on Twitch, which is our 90-plus player Discord 24/7 voice RP server.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm on that server. I am technically a moderator on that server, but I rarely intervene, and I don't read a whole lot of everything because I just don't have time for that. That server is a lot. So
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like it is, and I peruse it every now and then, but some sacrifices have had to be made. So
legit.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead. You're up.
Yes, hello, I am Jack. I actually don't have too much to plug right now because I'm kind of between seasons. So interestingly enough, you guys all had more things to talk about than I do. But I have my own Twitch and YouTube channel. You can find me over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension and on YouTube under the same name. My whole deal is I run a series called RPGs Uncovered, where I try to show just how quick and easy it is to learn a new TTRPG. Break down the core rules, tools, and themes of the game in as little as a few hours, put out small bite-sized tutorials of like 1 to 5 minutes for each little core concept you want to cover, and then do a fun like 4-session demonstration play show, which has always been a lot of fun. We have 2 seasons under our belt, a sci-fi show and a pastoral fantasy show. We are between seasons right now, and with April being funky and Easter and all that, the break is a little longer than normal, but we will be starting season 3 shortly once people actually start talking to me on a regular basis again. But in the meantime, you can go and check out all of the previous content over on our YouTube page, including a Cyberpunk Red charity stream that we did for Ukraine relief, which was super fun to play. We raised a lot of money. That is over on the YouTube. The quadruple matching donations is no longer active, but you can find a link to the Roll versus Evil page if you would like to make a donation toward their cause. Great people. That was actually founded by a few of the founders of Modifius, who of course made this fantastic game. So go check out Roll versus Evil. They're fundraising for all kinds of frontline workers and charity events and groups over in Ukraine. So go check that out. Watch some cyberpunk mayhem if that sounds cool for you. As for right now, I am playing Captain Orani Ambrose, as well as a number of other cool characters that I hope to have fun with today. Let's get out into space.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick recap of the events of last session. It's been about a month since we played last, so I know there's some gap, not a gap in knowledge, but a gap in connectivity. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what was going on for those who actually watch live. So who's got anything? Have you got some stuff? You got some stuff. You always got some stuff.
So we had we discovered there were seven Class M planets in this system, which we are calling. So, Brian, you said earlier Basket of Plenty, but I thought you'd said Valley of Plenty, or was that just
Valley of
Yeah.
Valley of
Okay.
Plenty? And the system that you guys are currently in is the one you have temporarily at
Yeah, that
least
was the
named.
whole cluster.
Yeah. The Valley of Plenty is the whole cluster. And the system you guys are currently in, you have nicknamed the Stone Cairn system.
Yes. All right. So, wanted to make sure that my inner Witcher fan hadn't misheard that whole thing for the last two seasons.
Yeah, no, it's Valley of Plenty, as in, going to your Witcher.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So we went down to one of the planets and discovered there seemed to be some sort of docking station. There were several markings etched into the stonework. We found some sort of bio runoff that matched or was similar to the DNA of the Ahren, which were our space whales from forever and ever ago. And there was a lot of modern tech inside the, I want to say the caves. Were we in caves? I think caves. That we did not touch because it would have been very rude. And then we also had the other big highlight of the episode was the ongoing ethical discussion about Eva and the SSH and their sentience and what we shouldn't do without their permission.
There was also some discussion as to the derivative or the origin of some of the text that you had discovered. And that it was tied somewhat to the station in some derivative ways, to Halloran Station.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else have anything I want to add to that? No, good. Go ahead.
Just that we've been doing this for a couple of days. We've got labs set up to handle the planetary surveying, and
Yep. So the Europa has spent the last several days, indeterminate number of days, probably about a week or so, doing data collection and sampling, and Vren has been down, as excited as Vulcans getting information, the anthropological information from the planet. Everyone's been collecting the data they need. You have discovered a number of life forms on the planet that are like moderate predatory creatures, nothing much larger than dogs, unless you get into the sea life, and then there's some larger stuff. But for the most part, it's a docile planet. At least the planet that you have nicknamed at the moment, Berry Bush. You also named 3 moons that had the repair facilities on them. And there you've discovered little to no additional life other than insects and small invertebrates and some very small vertebrate creatures, like voles and mice and things like that sized. Not a lot of large predators there, some avian. But for the most part, it has been a Starfleet officer's dream to be able to explore a world and have new scientific things to be named and all of that. Whilst you're on the bridge, let's go ahead and throw out, say, Elizabeth, probably, since she's the operations person, Nona. I can't get her to appear on the screen. There we go. Twice even. And then let's see who we've got as our science officer. We got O'Connor. That'll work. I'll start with those two. See when we go from there. So you've been running a few scans in the system. One of the things that has been of particular interest is the space lanes, quote unquote, of the Ahren. And as you are conducting some scans, you guys can go ahead and give me a science roll. We'll start the session out with a big science roll. You have advantage because the amount of time you spent here, plus your science labs and all that stuff. So you get one you get one lower difficulty, which makes difficulty 0, and you'll get 1 additional momentum for all the time you guys have spent doing research, and then you guys can go ahead and give me a basic science roll. Whatever stats you guys want to, whatever floats your boat most for the system, for the roll. And then Europa's not loading, so I can't roll.
Science.
I can go ahead and roll sensors.
You want to roll the sensors and I'll roll the science?
Yeah, well, why don't you go ahead and do the science roll, and then the ship can assist on the science, and I can assist. Why don't we do it that way?
Yeah, you can assist, and then I will roll the ship right now. Since it finally loaded.
I'm going to guess none of my focuses apply here.
Ship gets complication. The main roll there is 3 successes. So you have. Why does it show that 1 like that? That's weird. I can't see what you actually rolled. It won't show me. A 13. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, that's.
I rolled challenge dice. That's probably why. Instead of task dice.
Oh, I was looking at more what Brian rolled. Brian's die roll is a different color. But yeah, you should probably not roll challenge dice to do this roll. I'm playing this game for 5 years, Ev. Come on.
You switched me over to a whole new system.
Try that roll again.
Yep. All right. Try to see it.
There you go. So 3 successes total, with the ship giving a complication, which I will figure out later. I don't know. Figure something out. That gives you 3 successes. We can bank those if you'd like, or we can ask questions. But what you see coming in on the sensors at a distance in the quote unquote space lanes that are on the outside of the Ahren system appears to be the Ahren. There appears to be a small pack of 4 Ahren coming near to system. They're actually you detected them fairly quickly as they are not at warp or have just recently left their whatever FTL capabilities are and are entering into the system.
Elizabeth will let out a small gasp. Oh, wow. Look who just arrived.
We did not add the picture of the Ahren to this new game and to the new program. That's my bad. So, yes.
I think Silva, if she's at the helm, will take the initiative to move the ship a bit closer to them to get in better scanning range.
Sure.
But not too close.
Right.
Don't want to disturb
them. They're moving at pretty good speed as far as subwarp goes. And they appear to be headed towards the planet that you guys had. J5 is, I think, what you guys designated it, which is the large gas giant.
Yeah.
Heading in that direction. After a few seconds, as you move a little closer, there appears to be a number of warp signatures coming out of. Oh, good Lord. I forgot. You guys can't hear that. So, when somebody subscribes or anything like that on Twitch, it makes the noise, and I hear it, but I don't think you guys do. And then it shows up over my face, so it scared me. Anyway, several warp signatures appear on a quick glance from the security station. You acquire approximately 40 targets. The largest of which is about a scale 3, and the smallest of which is about a scale 1. There's mostly scale 1 ships.
Who has the con right now, do you think? Should we decide that amongst ourselves?
Yeah, it's whoever you want.
Mills makes sense. Or not Mills.
It's like,
O'Connor. Sorry.
okay.
O'Connor.
I was like, why are we putting the security officer on the
Sorry.
time?
O'Connor.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Lieutenant, sensors are picking up a bunch of signatures.
Appreciate the field promotion, but yes, I see them.
Oh, sorry. Should we call down to the captain? I'm sure they don't want to be made aware.
Mm-hmm. Captain to the bridge. Or I suppose I probably should just. Captain, we have information. You don't need to come to the bridge.
The captain's always got to come to the bridge. You never tell anybody what anything is over the radio. They have to go there.
Captain, you can go wherever you like. I have no one to tell you where you can and cannot go.
Ambrose will start his way towards the bridge because new information is, something's about to happen. He has that Hellion tingling in his weird eyebrow ridges. What's going on up there?
We followed the space lanes and found more of the space whales. There are lots of different warp signatures in the area.
You bring up on
very good. I know the science departments all have a number of instruments to get scans done.
Sir.
But yes, those ships are also entering system and approaching in the same wake as the Ahren. As you are relatively close to I'm not relatively close to the Ahren, but not close. A lot of these smaller ships, which you can see right there, the Tatura, which are one-manned sized ships, about 24 of them break off and start heading towards the Europa. And we'll go ahead and do our intro.
That's fine.
Clearly Mills is during training right now. That's why she's not on the bridge. So with that, if you want to go ahead and do your, I don't know if you had an impromptu captain's log that you wanted to do prior to going back to the bridge and whatnot, you can. If not, we can just skip that and go right to.
We covered no, we can continue. I had something I was working on, but we kind of bypassed a lot of that with what we've already done. Yeah.
All right. So yes, there's about 24 ships about scale 1. They're a little bit bigger than a normal shuttlecraft. Are heading towards the Europa. Also, a couple of the larger ones, this one down here, are also headed towards Europa. And that's about a size. The picture does not show a good representation. It's about a scale 3 ship.
And what is the Europa?
I believe a 4.
Scale 4. No, 5.
Or 5. It's big. It's bigger than this. All these ships are smaller than Europa.
It's 4. That's right.
It's the smallest class of actual starship you can be. These new ones are these ones that are just coming in the system without being shuttlecraft. So
yeah, that's 3.
Yes. So at the moment, I think O'Connor was at her station, and I think the chief of the watch, as it were, would be Elizabeth.
So Elizabeth will take it upon herself to initiate contact. That seems like it'd be proper protocol right now.
Of course it is.
I mean, hold on, real quick. I want to settle. We have informed the captain that there are warp-capable ships, right?
You have informed the captain. It appears the captain was informed that there are warp-capable space whales.
All right. Well, then let's catch him up. I figured it happened off screen in between while the theme song was going on.
Probably should have, but we were busy harassing O'Connor instead.
How about we establish now that it was what happened? We don't. I don't think that's something we need to play out personally.
So instead of the languid pace that Ambrose was taking to come see the space whales because they're space whales, he will instead pick up his pace because there's ships incoming.
Right. So Elizabeth is you're ordering for opening hailing frequencies?
Yeah.
All right.
Seems appropriate.
Go ahead.
I'll send out a interstellar greeting. Attention! 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 Incoming vessels. This is the USS Europa of the United Federation of Planets. We're here on a mission of discovery. Please, please introduce yourselves.
You get no response at first. They're making their way towards you. They're the smaller ships, the very small ones that are about shuttlecraft size. They are moving towards you at a fairly high impulse speed. The large ships, or the 2 large ones that are moving towards you, are moving at probably 1/4 impulse, so not very fast.
Elizabeth will turn her head to O'Connor.
Perhaps go to yellow alert. They look like they're coming in kind of hot.
Well, I was just about to ask O'Connor could we detect if they have shields up or not? That could, if they don't have their shields up, I don't see a reason to go to yellow, but if they do, then yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll see what I can see.
That would also probably be a Mills thing if you wanted to have Mills get on bridge.
Sure.
At first, so when you scan the larger ships, you notice that there is an energy signature that is shields, for lack of a better description. They're not real powerful. The little ships do not appear to have any kind of energy deflector shields of any kind. Well, they have, basic deflectors, so they don't, space particles don't go through them, but they are not, they do not appear to have any kind of like energy dampening shields. They do appear to be armed though.
Elizabeth will consult with her past memories, and I think she can hear the general going, better to be safe than sorry. And she's going to say, go to yellow alert.
The ship enters into yellow alert about the time that Ambrose enters the bridge. I suppose Mills is probably with him. That way we've got the chief security officer and the captain aboard bridge. Not sure what the XO is doing. Might be in sickbay at the moment.
And Elizabeth will quickly sum up what has occurred in the meantime. Captain, the 3 ships approaching, relatively small. They don't seem to be, they are not, their shields are down if they have shields, but they are armed. So
it's about 2 dozen of the small ships, not 3.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think you just misheard me earlier. There's 3 of the large, or two of the large ships and a bunch of the little ships moving.
Gotcha.
I think you just misunderstood me, which is legit.
Two dozen ships incoming, Captain.
Yeah, they come up on screen, and those are the things you see. 3 different kinds of ships.
And she'll add you have the con. I'm sure that's necessary part to establish chain of command.
Right. As the small ships approach, as they get within your weapons range, they still have not fired. They still don't have shields. Your mills can do a quick scan, and you note that they do have energy and projectile weapons. Both size ships do. And the little ships begin circling. They don't attack. They just, at that range, they begin circling the Europa and are flying in different directions, circling around it. It kind of begins to sort of confuse the sensors a little bit, but what are you gonna do? No one has fired yet.
I'll add that we've opened hailing frequencies, but I've gotten no response.
Okay. It's unlikely that we have any spoken information on their language, so it may take some time. We should continue. I'll open the hailing frequencies again. Greetings out there. I've heard that we have introduced ourselves already. However, I'm sure, having not met each other previously, that it will take some time to establish communications. I am Captain Arani Ambrose of the USS Europa. We bear you no ill will. We are on a mission of peace and exploration. We would like very much to meet you, and if you would like, exchange some information and culture.
Brad? Probably O'Connor's memory, because Evelyn doesn't remember. Didn't the Ahren have some sort of language that we sort of pieced together?
The Ahren had the sort of
I know they had the telepathy.
Yeah, that was mostly what you guys were using.
Okay.
And some
I thought
clicks and sounds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not, I mean, these people are obviously not Ahren, though. I mean, they're
no. All right, I'll run in character with what I'm thinking.
I gotcha.
Sir, it's possible if with the docs that we found on the planet, if they're using the Ahren, that maybe they speak the Ahren's language.
They might recognize some calls. It's a good idea. Yes, let's send out an Ahren call, something very simple, a simple greeting.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something I can pull up on my armrest, or if that's a whole science roll we need to do.
We don't need to roll for it. It's fine.
Okay.
You guys have that information in your system. You've done it before.
Cool.
So you send out the signal. The Ahren themselves actually adjust course slightly. You know that these other larger ships that were not moving towards you, there's 2 or 3 of those. What I have listed here is the harvesters. They are beginning to move in on one of the larger Ahren. After a few seconds, the Tatoras, the small ships that are circling you, they disengage and begin heading towards the Ahren. Whereas one of the larger ships, not larger ships, but they're all scale 3. The bigger ones are all scale 3. But one of the warships here stops relatively close and then begins hailing.
Put it on screen.
So do it. Roll 20. I kill you. Roll 20. So that is the face that appears on screen.
You shoot that over to our side?
Yeah. Forget that it doesn't do it automatically. I don't know how to do that.
You need to put it on the token layer.
Token layer.
If you switch your layer to the token layer, it'll do it automatically in the future.
Yeah, I don't even know I don't even know what the token layer is. So
Okay, no worries.
I'll show you later.
he's upside down now because I can't figure out how to make him go back side up either. But whatever, it is what it is. Oh, here we go. Flip. Can you guys see it now?
We're not actually on that map. You need to
No.
put us.
You guys are
we're on a
killing me over
different
here.
scene.
Killing me over here. There you go.
There we go. All right, cool.
All right, so you should be able to see the 3 ships, the dude, and then your guys' tokens, right? Everything's good.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
He comes on screen. Starship Europa. I am Ledan of the people. What are you doing in our system? In this system. They do not say our system. In this system.
Ladon, it is a pleasure to speak with you. First contact moments are something that we prize in Starfleet. As I said, we are a people of peace and exploration. This is a new area of space to us, and we are simply having a look around. We would certainly not want to infringe on any claimed territory, however.
There's many space for all. You are welcome. Do not interfere with our hunt, and you shall be welcome in this space.
That is very kind of you. I would certainly not interfere with your own activities. From what I understand, the limited sensors that we've taken, your people follow we call them Ahren, the creatures out there. You hunt them?
We do. I can explain more to you once we are complete, if you wish. I would look forward to having a meeting, perhaps over some sort of meal. I assume your people have ingestions.
Yes, sharing a meal with new friends is a custom among our people as well. I will let you get back to your work, but afterwards, if you would like to join me on my ship, we have quite a galley.
We shall meet you aboard Sharol, the world, and you get a coordinate. This world is essential for the next part of our task. And then he kind of nods in a curt but professional, respectful manner. And then the screen goes out, and the ship begins to turn back towards the Ahren, which you see the small ships. Roll 20, yeah. The small ships, the Tatura ships, begin attacking and driving the one Ahren away from the others. They begin to separate the Ahren. The weapons they're using don't appear to do a whole lot of damage to the Ahren. Like, they don't really appear to be hurting it at all, just really irritating them.
Make sure we get sensors of what's going on here.
After a few minutes of that, one of the large harvester ships moves in and fires a weapon, a projectile weapon at the Ahren, which almost immediately unalives the Ahren. And then it moves in, and the Tatora move the Ahren closer. The harvester ship begins sending out slightly larger than man-sized, looks like exosuits almost. Not quite as big as a worker bee, but pretty close. And they begin harvesting the Ahren.
How big are the Ahren again?
They're fucking huge. Really,
like
really
on
big.
ship scale level?
I think I had them at like a 7 or an 8.
Oh, they're even bigger than our ship. Okay.
Yeah, they're
They're
huge.
massive.
It's like
Okay.
cube size.
Yeah, they're up there in the Borg cube sphere.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gigantic. Now the biggest ones you've encountered thus far are that big, which is about what the biggest one here is. They also go down to quite a smaller. Like, the smallest one here is probably about a size 4.
Did they take the big one, or did they take?
They took the biggest one.
They took the biggest one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yezebeth will comment, they're going to be at this a while, I guess.
Yeah. There's a grand total of 6 of the harvester ships, which begin to move in and start working. The 2 big warships, of which there's only the 2, take up sentry positions, and then the Tatora are just kind of floating around. They don't appear to be doing a whole lot of anything at this point. They go in and out of the larger warships, but they don't. It's hard to keep track of how many there are, but they're not doing a whole lot else.
They're skirmishers.
I'd like to run some math real quick in character. How long will it take them to consume the Ahren?
At the rate and efficiency that the harvesters appear to be doing what they're doing, it'll probably take probably a grand total of like 4 or 5 days to completely dismantle the Ahren. But they probably, since they appear to be going after specific portions of the creature first, it's likely that they do it in stages, and that the primary things they need, the most important things, will be done fairly quickly within like a few hours.
Okay. And imagine the meat doesn't go bad because space is sterile.
Right.
So,
and it freezes, it's, but yeah, there's, as you're watching them do this large, process, what do you guys want to do? Anyone else have any other scenes they want to do mid this?
Silva will ask the captain, should I set course for the rendezvous point?
They'll be at this for a while. I'd be interested in seeing what our sensors can tell us about the process, about the biology of the Ahren, about how they handle this hunt of theirs. And they surely took down this massive creature quite easily.
The harrowing was really when they were doing it to us, they were messing with our sensors.
A common skirmisher tactic.
Yep.
Well, we can sit and observe for a little bit here, and then yes, we should set course for the planet and at least get an eye on where it is we'll be meeting.
So the world that the coordinates that they sent you, your ship translates them fairly quickly, as you've got access to the written language that they use, and several days of going at it. Shorl, Shorl, is the world that you guys have nicknamed Blue Bush, or Berry Bush, I mean.
Mm-hmm. That was the one with the farm, right?
Yes, the one that had the large fields, of which you've discovered a number on the planet after doing several days of investigation.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
So you guys are doing that, continuing to watch and gather information. Does anybody have any scenes they want to do whilst that is ongoing?
Before we get to that, what was the name of the dude again?
Ladon.
Ladon.
Ledon.
L''DAN. Ladon.
L''DAN.
You could pronounce this however you want. I just made the names up today, so because the names I had written down earlier I can't find.
And he referred to his people simply as the people.
Correct, the people.
Okay.
He was Ladon of the people.
Yes, and any claims to ownership that I have thus far made he did not make. That's just that's stupid American speech.
So we should probably pick who's going on the first contact. Would the captain be leading the team himself?
Yes, Ambrose would very much like to lead a first contact mission.
Sounds like a plan. Who would you bring along with you?
I think it would make sense to leave Commander D'Savi on ship unless there's an argument she would like to make against that.
Trying to
Would
think
argue my skills would be beneficial. However, both of us going down to the planet, even though it is in theory a peaceful mission, is not a wise decision.
With the number of with the number of other vessels in this system and the capabilities we've seen from them, I'd like somebody to remain on ship with a fairly high degree of command experience.
So Tong.
So Tong, yeah. Hooray. Lieutenant Tong, field promotion to captain.
Admiral Tong.
Admiral Tong. Yep. Yeah, who do we want to bring?
Who wants to go, I suppose, is the question.
Yeah.
I think
Captain, I would recommend
Mills and Yesbeth are always my two go-to.
And Specialist Ahren.
that would cover a lot of bases.
You might be rather put out if you leave her here.
Yeah. Yeah, Mills, Cherka, and Varen.
All right. And then obviously some security people.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any scenes that you wanted to do prior to that? Anything aboard ship that you wanted to do? Tong or O'Connor or Kostra or Koba or anybody else that wants to do anything before that?
I would love. I think Kendall is going to try to get herself onto the mission. She wants to do a first contact. But out of character, I want it to fail. But I want to play out her trying.
Who's she going?
Who would be a good foil for that, do you think?
Well, I mean, the person you'd probably most likely go to get on the mission would be D'Savi.
Yeah, I think it would be. Let's cause problems on purpose.
I feel that Sai was very in character as Kendall.
Oh
realized.
yeah! As soon as she realizes that she's going to have to go to her mom for this, she's.
Yeah.
So so she'll go and she'll commander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. I'm not asking for special treatment or anything like that. But I was hoping I could go down to the surface with the first contact team. I've never been part of a first contact mission before.
Quite an opportunity. I'll ask the captain what he thinks about adding someone else to the mission. We don't want to overwhelm them.
Hey, is Ev really quiet to everyone else, or is that just me? Sorry, I got to.
Yeah, you're a little quiet, Ev.
I turned my microphone way down because apparently it was popping. Is it still popping?
No, I'm not hearing it.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Is the volume better?
Yeah.
There's a little popping, but the volume is better.
Yeah, it's fine. It sounds good the way it is.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
Well, now you're not talking at all.
Now you're not talking at all.
All right, now the headset really needs to go away.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we good?
I think if you turn your head, it gets too far away from the sensor or something.
It shouldn't. The sensor is like right here. It is less than a foot away from me. It was a refurb Turtle Beach, and I think I'm just going to give up on it and buy a razor.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
some of the opportunity.
yes, it is a very unique opportunity, and I will ask the captain what he thinks about adding someone else to the mission. We don't want to overwhelm them, but it would be a shame to miss such an opportunity.
Thanks. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that answer.
I trust you know how to comport yourself. You are level-headed, and well, I hope some of my skills at diplomacy have rubbed off on you over the years.
I mean, I went to the academy like anybody else. I'm not a child anymore.
Indeed. let's see what the captain has to say.
Would you want to just call the captain into this conversation, or do you want to have that one-on-one?
I think it's more interesting if you have it while you're here, while she's here.
Go ahead. Have him shoot you down in person. All right, we'll call the captain in. Captain, there is an interest in joining the away team if you have a moment.
Fair. Very well, I'll be right there. So a little small talk, and Captain walks in. Kendall is an ensign?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ensign? Commander?
She'll stand straighter.
Ensign Onayet has taken the initiative to request to join the away team. She has never had a first contact mission before. On the one hand, it's quite the opportunity. On the other hand, I do understand that these teams should be carefully selected and should not be too large. I wanted your input.
Ensign Onayet, do you remember the courses at the academy covering first contact missions?
I do, Captain. I do, sir. I passed first contact initiatives with flying colors.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you're well aware then that first contact missions are about the most difficult and most dangerous missions a Starfleet officer can embark on.
I understand that, Captain. I'm absolutely ready.
I know a lot of graduated cadets who have claimed to have been absolutely ready for a number of situations. I'm sure you did very well in your course studies. However, the real thing is far more variable. I appreciate your initiative, and I would like to engage your interest, but not on the away team. I need to keep this mission small. I need to keep this mission with crew members that I know I can rely on in this capacity and who have experience on away missions dealing with other cultures.
Her face takes on a odd quality. I don't think you can tell by her appearance how she feels about this.
Oh, this is a good point, because Ambrose can reach out with his empathy.
You feel nothing when you reach out with your empathy. You sense like a ball of hate. Like this isn't to say like it's different from how it usually is. This is how it usually is, but it just feels wrong. It's like a black hole of mind squiggles.
Rage.
With her flaw, that's what he's getting. He's not, or is it just the telepathy?
That's the telepathy.
Okay.
That's her condition, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But her face is inscrutable too. So it's yeah.
Yeah, he'll give a side eye and raised eyebrow to D'Savi real quick. However, as I said, I would like to engage your interest in this matter. I will make the full debriefings available to you, and I would very much like you to accompany one of our sensor technicians and keep an eye on the happenings down planet side. And perhaps if this first contact mission goes well and further contact, and we are invited to further contact, we can introduce you to these new life forms.
She says stiffly, if you think that is the best course of action, Captain, then I suppose I have no choice.
Do one of those very slow, drawn-out nods. Don't worry, Ensign. We're out in completely uncharted space. I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunity for first contact missions. Let's get you first contact with this sort of mission.
Yes, sir. If that was all, am I excused?
Dismissed, Ensign.
She'll turn around on her heels, leave the room with a swoosh.
Swish.
An immediate pan to D'Savi. We're not hearing you again.
What did you get?
Nothing. Absence, as opposed to nothing.
Something. Something happened from the last time I saw her. When she first came on ship, I tried to speak with her and found myself reeling in pain. I haven't tried since.
I assume this is not a normal Betazoid part of growing up.
No. Usually losing our telepathy is something that happens only to the oldest of us. And it's a very traumatic experience.
And in your capacity as first officer and chief medical officer, what have you done about this information?
I referred her to our counselor. He has not been lax in her performance, and I don't know. She's declined assistance. She's been performing her duties as assigned. Unless that changes, ethically, there's not much I can do. She has the right to refuse treatment. If it's not interfering with her job.
My concern is that this was not on her record, which means it was not something that was previously detected, nor something that she felt the need to bring up. She's, of course, entitled to make decisions of her own body, but I would classify this as a disability, and Starfleet needs to be made aware of the disabilities of its officers. That's saying nothing to, as you said, a possibly very traumatic experience. I believe this is the sort of thing, in your capacity as my number one, that you should have brought to my attention.
Right. I handed it off to the ship's counselor to remove myself from the situation as her mother. In an attempt to be objective. And
You're the executive officer on this ship. My number one. You cannot remove yourself from a situation. If you are unable to command a family member as your role as commander, that's something we will have to evaluate.
it was a misstep on my part. One I will correct.
Regardless, you're right. She has the right to refuse service, but in doing so, she may also compromise her career. There are situations in which refusing counseling, refusing medical treatment is justification for being transferred away from a frontline position, as we are in the Europa. She's handling her duties. You're right. There's only so much we can do, but I want you to stay on top of this.
Should we wrap up the scene?
I think there is an awkward, just sort of, we're both trying to figure out how to deal with this situation. We can fade from there.
Okay. It seemed like there was one more sentence to be said, but I think an awkward end also works.
Mm-hmm.
It going unsaid might actually be more beneficial in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Several hours pass. You've made your way towards the planet to beam down for your first contact encounter. The remaining 3 Ahren have arrived at the planet they were going to, which is what you've classified as J5. They appear to be collecting stuff from the planet itself, the gas giant, and sort of just going about their giant space whaley business there. The main Ahren that was harvested is still being tended to by the larger ships. Several over the course of the time that you were doing things, several of the smaller ships were going in and out of both the main warships and the harvester ships. They were going back and forth between them, probably ferrying various things back and forth between the ships. And then a number of the small ships went to the moons around J5, where they then proceeded to land. Usually no more than 3 or 4 at a time, but they would land and several hours later. Well, it's only been a couple hours, but 45 minutes to an hour or so later, one would leave and the one would land, that kind of thing. After some time, the larger warship, which still larger is relative, it's all still size 3, began moving towards the planet and a message was sent out to all the ships in the area, all the people's ships that hang on, I have the name here. What's Rana Ladan Tajur will be arriving on the planet to begin the festivities.
That name again?
It's Ladan Tajur, but Rana is a title.
Oh, gotcha.
Rana appears to be a title.
Do we have enough in our database to determine what that title may be equivalent to? Captain, Admiral, President?
Leader is the closest word. Chief leader, something along those lines. Boss man. It doesn't really equate to necessarily a military title so much as like a political title. Prime Minister, maybe.
Okay.
Can I spend time on the route to, because we had some time.
Yeah.
Could Elizabeth have created an agenda or a plan for this first contact meeting that could give us advantage?
I wouldn't say an agenda or a plan, but possibly some additional research into similar cultures from what you're seeing. I could go with that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, go ahead and give the roll.
Okay.
Who's working on that?
Elizabeth?
I'm certain someone could assist.
Is that something you would engage our resident anthropologist with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Can you assist on this?
She can assist, yeah.
And assist is only one die, correct?
Correct.
Right. Reason science?
Sure.
That's what I rolled, yeah.
I would also accept insight science.
Too late. Complication.
Yeah.
We did get one point of advantage.
What was the advantage for? Oh,
background info.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys succeed, but there is a complication which I will
maybe we got something info wrong.
Yeah, we'll see what presents itself as we go.
Yeah. We offend them by shaking their hands, something like that.
Right. So you beam down to the planet. First of all, the people, they don't appear to go to the planet by beaming. They definitely take small crafts down. The only other small craft you're seeing is the little one that I've showed you guys before, the Tatora.
Okay.
So everybody's basically, there's a bunch of these going down, like probably another dozen of these going down to the planet. The large warship. All right. After a minor technical failure, we are back. Everything appears to be working good. Everything loaded back up, no problem. We're back on the stream, and where we left off, I believe I had mentioned that the large ships appear as though they could land on the planet if they wanted to, but they are the crew, or the ships that are going down to the planet are the smaller ones. That look like they're single, maybe 2 riders at the most. So you're probably going to guess no more than 24 people down on the planet, plus yourselves, which I think is an important number to note. And I believe that Ambrose would probably have looked into that on his way down. So, all right. Down on the planet, I assume you're beaming down.
Yeah. Don't see why not.
Yeah.
Okay. You beam down. a little bit after they arrive, so they've had a little bit of time to think to get things began. You know that there are a number of tent-like structures that have been set up or are being set up around the fielded areas where you guys were before. There was one of the cairns here. There was one of the stone structures that was here. You should have been able to find one if you hadn't before. There was one here.
There was.
Yeah. So they're situated largely around that structure. They're not huge tents, but they're fairly large. They're probably, what you would expect a 5 or 6 person tent to be. There's a couple other larger tents as well that are, not quite circus tent sized, but, wedding assembly sized. And then there's a number of people going in and out of the main cairn structure. No one is really paying any attention to the fields. But you also see this guy here. I don't know if you guys can see this one that I'm selecting. But there's a number of those. They're dressed like that. They have what looks like spears, but quick glance will also note that they are probably also an energy weapon. So yeah, there's probably a dozen or so of those, half dozen of those on the planet, those guys that you're seeing moving around. 2 of them are standing near the main door to the cairn. And this other gentleman right here, who is wearing some armor and what looks like a light cape, station, looks like he's wearing a uniform of station. It matches similar to the uniforms that these guys are wearing, but slightly more ornate. He's standing there. He is not. These are similar looking photos, but they're not the same guy. As you beam in and see all of that, he leans to one of the other guard type people and says something, and then the 3 of them begin walking towards you. Did you take any weapons with you?
I'm sure we would
Yeah.
at least
Yes.
have tattoos.
Yeah, we have type 2s.
It's the standard type 1, type 2s.
Yeah.
Okay. As he as he approaches, he stands tall. These guys are probably 6'5", 6'6" in that region. All 3 of them are pretty much in that height range. You see some of the ones walking around, they might get closer to 7 foot, but that's the tallest you're seeing any of them be. They're pretty big guys. As he approaches, he raises his hand and gestures in what you're guessing is a kind of a salute. It's sort of a almost like a power gesture, but it's more to his side, and he seems to hold himself with some esteem. I assume that you are the captain of Europa. I am Venru. I am the Sinin of D'Jarun. No, sorry, the Nita. I am the Nita, which is a title. Roughly translate to Warbringer.
Okay.
You are expected.
Very good. It is a pleasure to meet with you, Venru, and your people.
He looks you up and down, points to the thing on your belt. Is this a weapon?
It is a small handheld energy projectile.
A little bit of a smile on his face. Very well. This way. I assume you follow him.
Yeah.
Right. The 2 guards and him escort.
Can I pick up anything off of them?
The guards are easy to read. He is not. They have a very stoicism at the moment. They don't feel nervous or anything. They just feel like because you're empath. professional calmness, I guess. Like they're expecting no real threat, but they're obviously at a ready. He's more difficult to read. It's not impossible to read him. It's just he's got more of a veneer on his mind, more steel.
I'm kind of mostly interested if that little smile was a like scoff look at their puny weapons, or odd, yes, fellow warbringer, I respect you for being smart and coming armed.
Actually, the sense you get was more of and I was right.
Okay.
So.
I don't think Yezebet's going to be able to help but bringing out her tricorder and scanning the aliens as we walk through the room.
Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. We'll give that. We'll assume that is gathering information in case we need to do something later. Okay. So as you approach the large cairn, you notice that they have put up a number of multicolored banners on the outside. They're on poles. Nothing is attached to any structures. It's all just poles and banners. They're brightly colored, which is in contrast to the colors that these guys are wearing are largely golds and reds and silvers. It's a very Romanesque color scheme until you get to the banners, and then it's a lot of like bright colors with different symbols on them. There's about you can see 8 banners currently, and they all have different symbols on them, and they're all different colors. Obviously, it's some kind of heraldic display. The images on them range from things like Ahren to some of the weapons that these guys have that they're carrying, stuff like that. So it's pretty easily identifiable as like a heraldic thing. As you enter into the room, into the cairn, it is much brighter than it was before. There are a number of trying to think of the word, things that hold fire, cauldrons, braziers. That's what I'm looking for. A number of braziers,
flaming braziers.
Yes, braziers. Yes. Liberation movement all over. There are a number of braziers, but they're not holding actual fire. They appear to be holding some kind of plant that is emitting a fairly light colored bioluminescence. There's a fragrance in the room that was not there before. On top of the smell of these people, which is kind of a almost an acidic tone, almost like if you spray too much Lysol in a room, that's kind of the first hit that gets you. But on top of that, there's also a very floral pattern in the room that's probably coming from these plants. It's a very pleasant, almost rosy scent. Standing in the middle of the room, looking at some of the other people that are in the room, they're doing various odd jobs. They have several like tablet type computers, large mechanical interfaces and whatnot that are being laid out on benches, and the places where there looked like in the cairn and in the where there might have been tables and things like that, they're laying things out.
Okay. Do they seem to be accessing the computers we saw? We saw them have some kind of machinery here. Have they like plugged into those?
Most of that machinery was on the moons, I thought. There would be a little bit here, and yes, they are accessing it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's also a number of on one of the larger flat surfaces. There's also a number of maps, and a couple of people are going over them, and you can hear vaguely them discussing like crop yields and stuff like that. The Ladon, the man that you saw earlier, is talking, sitting in the middle of the room watching some people work, and he's talking to one of the other guard type persons. When he sees you approaching, and he shoos that person away kind of in a dismissive gesture, and turns to the lot of you. Venru, thank you for bringing them in. You are he is a slight bit taller than the rest of them. He's in the 6'9", 6'10" range. I believe you must be Captain Ambrose, yes?
That is correct.
It is excellent to meet you. I am Rana Ladan Tenjur. I am the leader of the people. And we welcome you to our world, which we suspect, looking around at some of the things that we are seeing. You may have been here before. What do you think of this fine planet?
It is quite a garden world that you've cultivated. A very pleasant place.
It serves many purposes. We are grateful to have such access.
I hope that our curiosity has not disturbed the tranquility of your space here. We tried to be as non-invasive as possible.
These worlds are vast, and there is plenty for all. There is no damage and no harm, and the food that this planet yields will provide for us all. You will say you are explorers, as he turns and begins to head back towards the maps area.
Yes, we Starfleet, that is the organization we hail from. An exploratory wing of our government, the Federation of Planets. We have a mission to seek out new life and new civilizations and to explore the galaxy. We're quite far from home.
I see. My worlds... We do not explore much. We are wanderers, but we stay within the ranges of what we are given. Why do your people leave? What is the reason for your explorations? He begins fiddling with some maps as he's, talking to you.
I suppose you could say we are a very curious people. This federation of ours is composed of hundreds of different civilizations, thousands of worlds. We like to meet others and learn about them and get new perspectives. It betters our understanding of who we are and our place in the galaxy.
It is a noble pursuit. Well, we are the people. We are... We have been referred to as... There is another name we have been given, but I cannot... D'Jarun, I think, is the word that is used by the others. Regardless, we are a nomadic folk, and my people do not possess such curiosity. Hopefully we can be of interest to you, though. Look at this. What's that?
You said you were nomadic, but is there a world you originated on? Is it somewhere here in the cluster?
Oh, that's a good question. I am not aware. There are many legends that the people of the D'Jarun have come from a place outside of this valley, the worlds of plenty. But it's some time. It is not from my grandfather's time, even. It is many. The stories change, Stories are fluid. There is no known home world to our people. We spend our time on our ships. We spend time with the Ahren, and we come to these worlds all throughout the valleys. We share them with the others, and we keep mostly to ourselves, as there are many risks outside of this valley. And while our people are not strangers to war, we are not many. We do not seek it.
Well, we seek only peaceful contact. So rest assured, you will not have to worry about us.
Look at this. And he pulls up the map and gives it to you. This is what we see our system. You have spent time on many of these worlds, yes?
Some more than others, but yes.
Yeah. Have you seen any evidence, any traces of hostile beings. And he points to one of the worlds and taps on the ice planet in particular.
No, in fact, there's seems to be no carnivorous creatures even, which is pretty unusual for this. Pretty unusual for this high frequency of M-class worlds. Well, I'm sorry, I'm trailing off here.
He gestures and yes, excellent. He kind of rolls the paper bucket and hands it back to one of the other people. If you have seen no signs, then all is good. He gestures to one of the people and says something very quickly, and they salute and head out to several seconds later, you hear one of the ships taking off. Oh, hey.
I heard that.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't turn the pads down and I accidentally hit one of the buttons.
Alert.
Yeah, right. Yes. So
do you expect hostility from that particular planet?
no, but in past we have found a suited people. I don't remember their name, but they were a hostile force some years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, cycles ago. They came here in a ship and crashed in the area. We have done our best to ensure that they do not return, because their lizards just seem to be hostile. They called themselves the Bren.
This name sounds familiar. Did we encounter these guys before?
He's probably pronouncing it incorrectly.
The
You mean the Breen?
Yes, that is the word. They came here from, they claim, a portal in space. Came through and crashed with their bug ship and their lizards.
Are the Breen lizards?
No, but the Jem'Hadar look like lizards.
I see. Gotcha.
That would be an Ambrose would probably catch that no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you have any scans of these people, or maybe stolen technology, or perhaps a thermal scan, anything like that.
He snaps his fingers and gestures. Bring me this. He says something in a something your translators don't catch, and somebody hands him a pad. He gives it to you. And this is what I have. What is left of them. We have those who are hostile as they were have no place here, and they were resolved. Which you get this sense of pride from him in your empathy. He hands you the sheet.
What was this?
It says he points to the thing on the paper on the pad and tells you a number of cycles, four cycles it looks like, which your translator brings out to be about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Mid-Dominion War.
Okay.
I'll take whatever's data I can from the pad and transfer it to the track order.
Yep. It is definitely a Jem'Hadar ship. There appears to have crashed. There was a Breen survivor, a number of Jem'Hadar survivors. There were no other survivors. They were all eradicated, and all traces of them were discarded. So
while they're having this conversation, Ambrose is just going to discreetly, turn around and sort of talk quietly in his communicator. Commander Dasavi, I'd like you to keep an eye out on the horizon up there. I've just learned that about a year and a half ago, there was some Dominion activity in this area. Breen and Jem'Hadar seems to have been taken care of, but stay vigilant.
Sir. She will order broader scans. If we can narrow in to any Dominion signals.
There was also mention of a portal, probably a wormhole, likely unstable. See if you can pinpoint that.
After a few more minutes of just general chatter and discussion, some people come in. They look a little bit different. I didn't get a picture of them yet. I was still looking to find a good one, but they look like a more diminutive version of these guys. You can't tell from this photo, but the guys with the spears actually look different too. They've got a different facial structure, and they've got like tentacles coming off their lips. If you zoom way in on this, you can see it better. But there's basically it's 3 different species is what you get from that. Different but similar. Anyway, this third group that comes in, they're much more diminutive. They're probably small human, not dwarfishly small, but smaller than normal humans, probably in the 4 or 5 range, 6 foot range, 4'5" to 5'6" range. And they come in with a number of like pulled behind, hovering, like almost like grav lifts, tables and things that are covered. And there's a new smell that enters the room. It is a fragrant, a cross between like beef and chicken kind of smell, as well as a lot of like aromatic fruits and vegetables kind of smells. And they pull these things in and lay them around the outer wall of the Quran. So anyway, the outer wall area of the Quran, and the Ladan gestures. Yes, it is time. There are some perks to being the Rana. Please join me. And Venru also makes his way towards the newly entered items. And as everyone, these two approach, and the guards and whatnot approach, the smaller creatures, the smaller people lift the lids off of these things, and there are plates just heaped over with various kinds of food. There's meats and vegetables and fruits and beverages and all kinds of things that look actually quite tasty, similar in fashion and cook and style to human food. A quick scan from your tricorder shows that it is all palatable and edible food.
Does this match up with the food that has been growing here, right?
A lot of it is, yep. This food that you found on these worlds, there's a few plants and stuff that you don't recognize from the scans you've done, and the meat appears to be largely Ahren meat.
Okay.
There are other types of meat there, but that is the largest heaping is the Ahren meat.
Well, it seems simple, Captain.
Please join us, if you will.
Thank you for your hospitality. This all looks quite delicious. As you said, perks to being the Rana.
As he takes a plate and begins putting food on it, you quickly note that no one is actually eating yet, as he's, people are getting their plates together, and obviously he goes first, but it's not like he finishes and then everyone else goes. He takes the first of the line and begins going. When it all is done, when he's gathered all the food and things, he moves back to the center of the room and raises his hand up. Everyone becomes quiet and turns to him. And he begins He is speaking. My friends, we have once again been graced with the Ahren's gifts to us. We wish to thank and be thankful for all that we have been given. The sacrifice of a creature to sustain us all, it is a regrettable necessity of life. We owe it to those who have died before us and those who have sacrificed themselves to be our sustenance, to live the best we can, and to ensure the safety of those in the future who come here. The Ahren are not just our... he says something in his language that your tricorder doesn't catch, but it's something roughly that translates to sustenance. But they are also our responsibility. In the recent months, we have seen new hunting of the beasts. Once this day is complete, we have replenished our stores. We will find the culprits, and while war is not our path, sometimes it is necessary. He points over to the other guy, Veneru Ardo. Veneru Adro is Nunu Neta. He will show us the way to bringing these hostile forces into line. Many of us will most likely have this one last feast. But the sacrifice of those will be to sustain the others. And for that we give all we are, our thanks, our strength, and our futures. Then he says something else and raises up his piece of fruit and takes a huge bite, at which point everyone else cheers and begin eating.
Just speaking out of character, do we want to ask them about this, or? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the food begins. You guys are, I assume you're going to actually eat.
Is this like just standing and milling about like banquet style?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Banquet hall style? Okay.
Yep. They don't really appear to have a whole lot in the way of chairs.
Do they eat with their hands?
They do.
Okay. Yep. Varen is going to have trouble with that.
Heading back up to the ship, Dasavi, you note that one of the harvesters begins moving off. The small ships are still going back and forth between all the harvesters and the other large warship. They're clearly ferrying supplies and whatnot between everything. But one of the harvesters begins moving off towards the one of the Three Stooges.
No.
So, and you're getting quick sensor readings on it show that it is experiencing some kind of mechanical difficulties. It is leaking some kind of not plasma, but some kind of plasma-like substance. It's the same. It's actually emitting the same signature as the Ahren do when they're going into FTL. And it is apparently leaking something.
Which of the was it one of the Three Stooges planets that was that had the dock?
All three of the planets. All the Three Stooges all have the dots on them. Yeah.
Okay. I will hail the ship.
All right. On screen, one of the smaller, more diminutive aliens comes on screen. Yes. How may we be of service to you?
You are leaking. Your ship appears to be damaged. Do you need assistance?
He checks a couple of things. We are damaged. We have suffered a failure of a containment unit. We are heading to... Do I have a name for the moons? I don't think I named the moons. I did not. Oh, yeah, we did. We're heading towards Svert. We're going to effect repairs. And he kind of nods you get a distinctive impression from these guys. They are very meek.
Okay.
He has a feeling, like the sense that you get from him is that he does not want to be of any trouble to you.
Do you have what you need? Do you need assistance? We have some very capable engineers.
There's a bit of hesitancy, and then he looks around, and we would be most grateful for any assistance you can provide. You get there's a definite, like, he does not mean that. He says it, but it's very much oh God, don't come over here.
I don't wish to trouble you. If you would prefer to handle things on your own, I don't want to intrude.
We welcome you aboard ship. It is the will of Rana Tajur that you be provided all experiences. Please, you may come.
Very well. I will send a couple of my engineers.
We should pick a team.
Hmm?
We should pick a team
Yeah.
to go over.
I
I feel like Tong should be on the team.
Yeah, no, I'm going to send Tong and Koba.
I
Back up.
actually would rather Dasabi or Silva go.
Silva's not security.
No, but they might be piloting issues.
I can send both, but I suppose we could just send random security person A.
Yeah. It's up to you guys. If he wants to take Silva, that's fine.
What sort of vessel is this?
It's one of the harvesters.
The harvesters. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones.
biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest of the three big ships.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
again, they're size 3, but still.
I could go with Silva and Koba. I'm not opposed to that, but you should definitely have a character that goes as well.
I don't have any characters that would go. I don't have any characters that would make sense for it to go.
Okay. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, Dasavi.
Yes, Dasavi is just going to leave the ship. The captain said somebody in command should stay on Europa, so Dasavi is going to go over to the Harvester.
It's additional first contact, you know?
Why did you disobey my heavily suggested not really in order? Because
it was a suggestion and not an order.
You didn't say I had to. You just said I should.
O'Connor could go. Just put that.
It really would make sense for her.
Okay. Yeah, but I think Silva. I'm sure we have one of we have runabouts, right? I'm sure one of them has they have modular packages, so we could probably put like an engineering package on one of them in case there's any extra vehicular repairs that need to be done.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
So Silva is going to be readying the shuttle when Tong arrives. And she says, finally, we get to go on a mission together.
Yes, I heard we're going to be meeting some new people. First contact, or, well, I guess first 0.5 contact, second contact. Is it considered second contact if first contact is still, in contact?
I believe it's gone. It goes second, so I do think it's second contact.
Second contact.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it. Second contact's the more fun anyway. You get to actually roll up your sleeves and get shit done. Not just fancy state dinners.
I'm interested to see what their technology is like.
Me too. Speaking of which, and I would like to spend an opportunity cost to say that there is a device that can do high-tech technology scans on people, like a Starfleet intelligence device that is made for exactly this kind of situation.
Like, what kind of information do you want to get, I guess is the question.
Technological information, specifications, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I can make up a name. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is a spec scanner. It's Starfleet. It's a Starfleet intelligence device. I was thinking, while we're there, we can get some scans. See if these people are up to something.
Up to something. Yes, everyone's up to something.
That's what I'm thinking. Glad we're on the. I'm great minds think alike.
Yes, very good.
Where are we
the more
having
we know.
this conversation?
In the shuttle bay.
The runabout.
All right.
Not on the bridge.
No.
Yeah.
Who would be in charge of this away mission? Is Tong in charge?
I believe Tong would be the number one
Tong is
guy.
in charge.
Um,
Before you go, Dasavi would tell you this is still, in a sense, first contact. Be mindful of etiquette and be careful to not offend. They seemed outwardly eager, but inwardly reluctant to accept our assistance. So do find the balance between doing everything and not doing enough, if that makes sense.
loud and clear, Commander.
And
I
certainly
commend.
no improvements.
Right. No improvements.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I know how you engineers get.
Well, I'm sure we'll all be fast friends.
Don't worry, Commander. We know when to hold our cards close to our chest. Right, Tom?
Of course.
Right.
I actually think the scene would be more interesting with just these two. Can we just make it these two? Like, I wouldn't see a need for a security detail to go along either.
No, we are sending security.
Yeah, we're sending
Dasavi is
security.
absolutely
Have to
not
send
sending
security.
you to a strange ship without security.
It doesn't have to be Koba, but it would
It doesn't
definitely.
need,
No,
like
yeah.
just red shirt or yellow shirt A and B in the background.
They're setting it back,
That's fine.
being extras. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I can imagine. So Picard would have probably sent people over with no security guards, but Ambrose would not do that. And Ambrose would get really mad if Dasavi did that.
The away team
Dasavi would not do that either.
I'm just going to point out the away team pairing is like a staple of Star Trek. There isn't a series that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But you take two characters who have chemistry together, you put them in a shuttlecraft, you push that shuttlecraft into the plot. That's how it works.
And security guards are way overused in role-playing games. It's just a feature of the gaming. So you guys head over in the runabout with a couple of unnamed security agents, Tong and Silva. Back on the planet.
Dasavi will also send a message via pad, I think, to the captain to apprise him.
Yeah, not enough text messaging goes on in Star Trek, you know?
Right.
I like to think that we've moved past that. We tried it for a while, didn't work out. We're on to better things now, which is hitting your chest.
Yeah.
Just
gone back
happens to go to who
intrusive
you want to
phone
talk to.
Just always good. Well, it knows.
It
So
They know how to create utopia.
right. So yeah, the captain, you get a beeper message. And Star Trek was biggest in the 90s. You get a little beeper message.
Mhm.
Pull out your Motorola. But yeah, it's D'Savi has sent you a message. Message for what's that?
The message is just basically Harvester took off from the planet leaking with their permission, sent Tong and Silva to repair and
Yeah.
security.
He'll push one of the pre-established reply options.
Right.
Keep me apprised.
Yeah.
A little email button that comes up. That
Yeah. Oh, it's like Google. You just hit the button and it's like, reply with that. Yeah. Star Trek is run by Google.
Yep.
I buy it.
Yeah. The message goes back. Obviously, you're all good there. Anything else you want to do on the planet? Anything else any other group wants to do before we progress? I know you guys had there's stuff on the table you guys can do stuff with. What do you want to do?
Do you want us to roll, like try to make a good impression during the banquet?
If you want to. Just to establish a ground. I'm still holding on to a complication from earlier, so
that's true.
One of Ambrose's focuses is diplomatic relations.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys, for those kind of roles, I generally use those for like if you're trying to accomplish a specific task, like not just making friendly, but if you want to accomplish a specific thing, or if you're trying to do like a long-term. For me, and this is a problem I think that exists in role-playing games in general, but I tend to go to role-play through it and do it that way rather than making the roles. But obviously, there's the roles are there, and the characters are usually better at something than you guys are. So if you want to make a role, I can use it and adapt with it. I don't usually think that way though. So if you guys want to do it, feel free to remind me that's a thing that you can do in the game, and we'll do it.
But I do have something for that because I did want to sort of cozy up to this guy, and see if I could, diplomatically, engage him in conversation about what this, like the speech he just gave. Who are these people?
Right.
What are the Ahren to you? You say they're your responsibility. Are you their protectors? Do you lay claim to them? Do you know anything about these people? And I don't think we need to go into a long, drawn out conversation, like actual role play. But we do have a lot of information on the Ahren that we could share with them as well. I'm sure they have that information already, but just as a point of common ground, be like, hey, we saw the Ahren before. We're familiar with them. We assisted in a birth, and hopefully that doesn't offend them.
Right.
But I mean, everything we've done with the Ahren has been, not only peaceful, but helpful to the Ahren. So showing that we have this experience with these creatures that they seem to maybe not venerate, but at least hold some responsibility and appreciation for, talk about how we're familiar with the Breen and the Jem'Hadar, and ask a little bit more about that situation and the whole like common enemies sort of thing, and kind of parallel that with whatever new adversary they may have going on to press for more information.
Right.
Yeah, I would also love to find out more about that adversary.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the roll. I don't have a sheet in front of me, but that's going to be probably presence, I would think.
Sense?
Presence command.
Presence and command probably makes the most sense. Yep.
Does the preparation that we did ahead of time give advantage?
Yeah, I would give that.
Cool.
Okay.
So your difficulty is going to be 3 -1 for the backlog information. You got all the information that you guys already have for your advantage, and the preparation work that was done earlier. So your difficulty is 2, which in a first contact is a pretty good difficulty.
And remind me, what can I do with values?
So a lot, actually.
Yeah. Trying to bring up my cheat sheet.
The simplest thing that values do is you can use a value to use determination. What's that, Brian?
You can use determination to add +2. That's the simplest thing.
Yes. Yeah. The simplest thing is you can basically spend it to use determination, which gives you an automatic two successes, as if you rolled a single die and got a 1 on it.
Yeah.
That is the simplest thing you can do. Honestly, the looseness of the Star Trek system, if you have something you want to do with your value, you want it to apply in some way that is not rule specific, I am up for it. But that is the simplest mechanical thing for it.
Yeah. Well, I have the value respect must be given to be earned. And this guy does seem to be very proud of his Rana title. Yeah. It seems like this is a society that is very much based in a hierarchical structure. Yeah. And I think Ambrose has a lot of, between his military career and his diplomatic career, or at least his diplomatic training before the war broke out, would like to kind of toe that line between deference and also being a peer, being an equal, because he is a captain. He is the representative of Starfleet right now.
Right.
So finding that middle ground to be respectful of his title and be respectful of the hospitality that they're providing, and first contact in general, in the hopes that respect will then be given, because respect is different than just hospitality. He wants to impress these people, impress Ladon, and also, have him see himself as the captain as an equal to.
Right. So in addition to trying to get the information, as part of getting the information that you're trying to get as far as what the other race is and doing all these things, you want to basically establish yourself as a near peer to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say the difficulty is probably still going to be 2, because of the prep work that you've done and everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will say that I will spend 1, 2, 3 threat to make the complication range higher. In the off chance that you offend him during your attempt to make yourself seem near his equal.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
And then I do have a complication from earlier that I might do something with, but I still haven't done anything with it yet. So I'm holding on to a complication I haven't been able to use yet.
Great. Okay. I spent my value. Are we doing that narrative, or is that applying the artificial one?
So basically, if you want to say that you're using your value that allows you to spend a determination, which you get 1 determination every session, so you've got determination. You spend your determination and get a 2. It also lowers the number of dice you can roll, because it counts towards your maximum number of dice, which isn't going to be relevant here anyway. But
it's basically a free critical.
It's basically a free critical on a die that you would roll. So you would use that. You would spend your determination point. You're not challenging your value, you're just using your value. Challenging your value is where you have to cross it out and change and find a new one, but that's not what you're doing here.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would be using your value, which you can only use one value. You can only use the value once per session, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, this is something very integral to Ambrose's character. So
yes.
he's gonna play up this value. Okay, so I'm gonna use that to get 2 successes. You said difficulty 2, so I'm basically buying the success. Okay.
Yep.
But I still need to roll in case I roll complications. Correct. So I'm going to roll presence, command. I'm not going to worry about buying any dice because I've already succeeded. Okay.
You also get 2 bonus successes, or 2 bonus momentum, because you used my advantage.
So you got your successes. You also got a complication. All right. I am going to use that complication to add a note into my notes for future reference.
All right.
You have made an impression on the leaders.
Now, I did succeed.
You did
by quite a margin, so it should be a positive, respectful connection. But I am very much open to whatever complication you would like to tack on there.
Yes, I will use that complication for setting up a future thing, though. So I have noted that it is there. I know what I want it to be. I don't want to tell you what it is because it doesn't apply here.
All right.
You do get, during your conversation, you get a sense from Venru that he definitely finds some distaste with your tactics. You don't necessarily find that from Ladon, but you definitely get that impression from Venru.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a hint to what your complication is. So yes, you succeed. He definitely, you get the impression that he's got you as at least a near peer, if not a peer. You are the leader of your people. What specific things did you want to know about? I mean, I'll add some information into the species Bible and give that to you guys when I get a chance. I have to redact some, so I'll put it in the series Bible so you guys know what is there. That's the information you guys actually have. But is there anything you specifically want to know about right now? Like, you get the Ahren, they definitely view themselves as both shepherds and benefactors of the Ahren. Like, they go out of their way to ensure that that species is protected, but at the same time they hunt them. It's a very symbiotic relationship is the word I'd be looking for. And you wanted to know about the other species, right?
Yes.
The hostile species.
Mm-hmm.
Many months ago, we found that the group known as the Bishari, which is a name you guys should know, or at least have heard of.
Maybe that's the people I was thinking of.
Yeah. The Bishari have been moving in on our territory. Well, not our territory. Have been moving into the valley. They have discovered some of the outlying worlds in the valley, and from all we can tell, the Bishari are a people of war. They are covetous of the deaths of others. They have taken for their own reasons. The Ahren, a whole pod was wiped out, just left to suffer in space. And he says something in his language that roughly translate to organs. For what purpose we do not yet know. But we refused to provide them with our ships and our servitude. They seek the knowledge of how our ships move through space so quickly. Not information we wish to share with them.
Okay, going back through the notes, the Bishari, were they the species that the rock people referenced?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is that nearby?
The rock planet is not nearby.
Okay.
Not really, no.
If I remember correctly, they were mentioned as having an expansive territory.
Yes.
We don't know much about them.
You do not know much about the Bishari, no. This is only the second time you've heard of them, and you have not knowingly encountered any of them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actively at war with the Bishari?
You don't get the impression that they are actively like that it's a long ongoing war. It's more of a the Beshari made an aggressive action and now they intend to retaliate.
They're about to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can they tell us where the wormhole is? They said they thought that the Breen came from a wormhole. Would they be able to tell us where that was?
They didn't have the information. They just said that the Breen had said that they had came from a portal.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, could they tell us where the crashed Breen ship is? Maybe they could get some information from there.
They destroyed it.
Oh.
They destroyed all traces of the Breen and Jemadar. That was the dealt with them comment.
Sure. I figured there was some wreckage left at least. But,
No, they threw it into the sun pretty much. Yeah, they clearly don't. They clearly subscribe to the F around and find out philosophy of things.
I see. Yeah, I think in general, just engaging in conversation that would lead them to talk about their travels, where they've been, and where they've encountered the Bishari.
Okay. They can give you locations where the Bishari are for sure, where some of their claimed regions are, and they'll show you on. He's happy to show you on any star charts that you might have that he recognizes. He actually has some star charts he can show you. They're difficult for you to recognize because you don't have the reference points necessarily.
Would they be willing to these guys? Would they be willing to accept a long-term embassy from the Federation?
That would probably require more work.
We'll get to
Not
that.
there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Ambrose certainly wouldn't broach that just yet.
Okay.
They seem open to definitely being friendly with the Federation, though. Like there's definitely a sense of they trust you and they, they're happy to be working, to be speaking to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole long process to this sort of thing.
Sure, but I mean, like, when I say long-term embassy, I don't mean the physical location of an embassy. I mean a diplomatic mission to them.
Right. That's not a conversation to have on the first night.
Yeah,
they definitely give you the impression, though. Like they have said, anytime you've brought up like their ownership or their any like home worlds or long-term anything else, what they basically keep telling you the same thing, which is the phrase they use is these worlds are vast and there is plenty for all. Mm-hmm. Which means really they probably have no problem with having a long-term, like you can infer they probably have no problem with a long-term contact with the Federation at this point. Mm-hmm. That would be a pretty safe bet.
Have they told us what their structure is, like in terms of, like we know that this guy's in charge of this group. Is there like an overlord who's in charge of all the groups?
I'm solving another technical problem.
Oh, no worries. Your camera's black. Black.
Because that's what the technical problem was. My camera screwed up. I was just finishing fixing it. All right. So they have not told you what the structure is. You can definitely garner some insights from what you've discussed, what you've talked to them with about and everything else, that there are a number of great houses or for lack of a better term, great houses, tribes, bands within this group. And there are multiple groups. So there's this group, there are 8 groups inside of this group, but there are other groups outside of this group that are their own groups, have their own Rana, their own, everything else. So they are not the only group that lives in this valley.
So it's a tribal confederation.
It's a tribal confederation, and it's probably a tribal confederation. This is a tribal confederation, and there are probably other tribes outside of this one that are also out there that do similar things, that act in similar fashion to this group.
Oh, but wouldn't be in the hierarchy. There would be multiple groups.
They'd be their own hierarchies.
Okay.
So, and there is no like chief of chiefs. It's their groups are their own groups.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah.
That is.
Yep. So you would get that, and you could certainly ask them questions about that. He wouldn't have any hesitation in answering those kinds of things.
Sure.
The term that is used for this particular group of people, this particular confederation, is the D'Jarun, D''Jarun, the D'Jarun Herin.
Can we find out the names of the individual species? You said there's 3 different species. Can we find out who their names?
They don't refer to themselves as different species. They refer to them as a single species. That would be something that you guys would actually name them. They don't view themselves as once you are in this confederation, you are a member of this confederation. It doesn't matter what your race is.
Okay.
So are they different species, or are they different races within a same species?
They're likely different races within the same species, or different.
Okay.
They're different species in the same way that they're different races in the same way that D&D has different races.
D&D has different species. They just call it races.
Correct. Yeah. But they're all living in the same conglomeration. So they're all the same planet. They're all the same.
So when Varen scans their DNA, are they different species?
There are similarities.
Differentiated phenotypes of a singular line of.
They are similar. They're similar in the way that humans and like that. They're similar in the way that the various species of human are similar. So there are humans.
Genes.
Right. Inside of humans, there is Homo sapien, Homo erectus, Neanderthal. Those are all humans, but they are different kinds of humans. So that's what you got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the same genus, so they likely originated from the same world. They
Correct.
Can likely interbreed.
Correct.
Do they seem like one is more evolved than the others? Do these more diminutive ones have lesser intelligence, smaller brains?
From the scans, they don't appear to be any more, any lesser evolved. They obviously have evolved in different ways, but like their intelligence doesn't appear to be any lesser, and they're not treated poorly. They're clearly treated as a second class, but they're not like abused.
So there is a racial hierarchy.
There is a racial hierarchy. It looks like there's a 3-tiered system. You have warriors, they are their own. You have the leadership, which are their own, and you have the servitors that are their own.
Mm-hmm.
It goes beyond that because he also tells you that the diminutive ones are also the harvesters. They're also the hunters. They're also they're the ones who provide for everyone else.
Okay. Interesting.
They're both in service and they're both seen as servants and as providers. So
at some point during the night, we'll be like talking amongst ourselves, I'm sure, at some point. And Elizabeth will comment, it's so odd that they have different species within this larger group, but they're not they're separated by geography, I guess, rather than by racial distinctions. That's pretty unusual. I'm just trying to do character stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just confused as to what you're separated by geography and not racial. They do have different racial features, and we've not seen much geography.
But they're within the same tribe. So rather than a tribe of the small guys, tribe of the medium guys, tribe of the big guys, they've got one tribe that contains 3 tiers.
Right.
Which is unusual. Just commented.
Yeah, it makes sense once you describe it that way.
Gauge at the very least.
Gotcha.
Yes, it is rather unusual that 3 different, she would use the scientific term for it, but I don't know it right off the top of my head. 3 different subspecies of the same.
the fact that they are distinct. They all seem to have a role. Maybe their culture demands that only those members of that species carry out that duty. That would create a cultural imperative that why that all three of them would continue to exist, but not be in their own distinct quadrants. I use quadrant in the generic term, not the space term.
Also, there's only three of them, so not the literal term. I got what you're going for, though. I think it's a difficult conversation to actually have unless you know the scientific crap, and I don't either.
Right.
We have seen caste-based systems before, even in The Expanse. It is, however, interesting that this does seem to be. The line seems to be drawn on a genetic level rather than a familial level.
I wonder if they grasp that our culture doesn't work the same way. The captain's the one speaking with them. Maybe they assume that members of his species are the ones in charge of our races.
Perhaps. All very important discussions to have in our continued sharing of culture and information.
I think that's good for that scene. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add into that, or we can head over to Tong and let's go ahead over to Tong and Silva, anyways, to give that a chance to ruminate. You guys arrive aboard the Harvester. When you arrive there, you note, first of all, it's very clean. It's an extremely clean ship. And the species that are the grouping that is on there, excuse me, the smaller, more diminutive group. And in that, there's also appears to be a divide. That you notice that some of them are working as like manual laborers, and some of them appear to be engineering, and you know, it appears to be much more of a diversified crew than first glance on the planet would have appeared. You guys weren't on the planet, so it didn't much matter, but you're greeted by a handful of the little species, and they it's like, welcome aboard the ship. You've come to help us do repairs for the leak. And he looks at Tong, and like it kind of nods a little bit. Says, you are the engineer, yes?
Yes, Lieutenant Tong, at your service, of course. We are here to help. It is a pleasure to meet you and your people.
Yes. There is much work to be done. Please come this way. And the other looks at Silva and says, your role is what? What do you do?
Moral support. No, I'm here to just keep an eye on things.
I see. You are overseer. You come this way as well, please.
Sure.
They take you back towards the back end of the ship. As you get into the main compartments, so you go through the little section where the shuttle bay is, and into what looks like a fairly major compartment. There is a substantial operation going on inside this ship. They are bringing in a lot of material from the Ahren, and it is being divided into various sections aboard the ship. One of the sections where that is near the area that you're headed. As you're heading back there, you see more and more of this section appears to be harvesting some kind of fluid and refining it into an energy source, essentially. As you get back, Tong, as you get back to the engineering section where the storage containment units are, you can see that whatever the material they're harvesting is basically the fuel they're using for their FTL drive. They're harvesting their entire means of being able to go faster than light from the Ahren.
I just want to note, I have the talent constantly watching. So if I detect a hidden To detect a hidden danger or enemy, the difficulty is reduced by 1. I just want
Sure.
to note that.
That's assuming. Yeah,
Yeah.
Silva. Yeah. So far they appear to be pretty much up and up. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Look at the engine. Wow, they managed to completely bypass the need for dilithium entirely. That's pretty inventive of them. One.
Very interesting. Very interesting. We know the Ahren are capable of, obviously warp speed. So they may have found some way to refine that for a more mechanical use as opposed to biological.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
This will be exciting.
Although that must mean that this species, the Ahren, are crucial to them. If something were to happen to the Ahren, they'd be completely, all their ships would be grounded.
It looks that way. Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
Go ahead and give me an engineering scan. You can also give me a biological scan if you want to do that, Silva.
Okay. So I spent that opportunity cost on that device. Could I use that device to do a scan on just to get all the specifications of their ship?
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily all of them, but you'd get a significant amount of them. It's a pretty big ship to scan all at once, but yeah.
Sure. I'm espionage information gathering, I guess is
right.
Can I use my espionage focus on that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Would I be able to use my electroplasma power systems, or is this too foreign?
It is pretty foreign. It is also electroplasma systems in a sense. That's a tough one. I'm going to go ahead and allow it.
Okay. Difficulty?
Difficulty is 2. For both of you.
Okay.
Do we still only have 2 momentum?
You have 3.
3. Okay.
I would like to use one of them.
It's 1 to buy another die, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and use 1 as well.
Okay.
Nice.
Also good.
Not as nice, but it's
still pretty good. All right. So Silva, you get a pretty good amount of information from their ship. You can get some basic, you could pick one area of their ship systems to be able to have information on, like either tactical, life support, propulsion, something like that. You could get one of those and
weapons.
Just basically get a full readout of that.
Yeah, weapons.
Okay. We'll get back to that.
I have no, we're not going to attack them, but
right.
if it comes up.
So 4 though, that gets you a good amount of information. First of all, you see the problem with the system, and it is not a difficult fix for you at all. A simple, basically light welder or some assistant, some equivalent thereof would solve this problem in a matter of minutes, without having to land it or do anything really. You just can get in there and just weld it up and fix it. But you also find that it is not a wholly mechanical ship. There is a definitive biological component to the ship. It's similar in a lot of ways to the Ahren, in a lot of the same ways that Europa has biological components. This ship has biological components, but it's more integrated. It's not a biological ship, but it has a lot of biological components. So
it's not a biomechanoid ship that was born and seems to create its own mechanical components. It's a mechanical ship that has grafted into it synthetically created organic components. Okay.
Correct. Yep. It is similar in technology to the way that it was done on the Ahren station. So they had the their AI was being controlled by an organic being. It is similar in fashion here. That there is a deep level of integration with the biological components that are here, but it is not a natively biological ship.
The organic components in this system, does it look like that is what is? Have they created these biological components to basically travel in the same way that the Ahren do?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they're wholly dependent, as you can tell now by looking at this, on the Ahren to have any kind of space travel, or at least any kind of FTL travel. And likely it is integrated to the point of these ships would not function at all without the stuff they harvest from Ahren.
So you said this is a fairly easy fix for Tong, but they don't know that. So right. Tong is going to take his merry time doing this and get as many scans as learn as much about this completely alien warp drive that they seem to have.
Sure. There's only so much you're going to get because you're not a biologist, but you can get a lot of the mechanical. So you'll get pretty much the mechanical side of it without too much difficulty. And as for Silva, you get a reading of the weaponry aboard ship, and there appears to be basically 3 levels of the weaponry on the ship. One is low power, kind of mostly low power. I mean, relatively low power. Then you've got some actual offensive weaponry, one of which is a fairly large torpedo-like device that the yield on it is substantial, and it appears to have the capabilities of piercing through thick pieces of armor. A bunker buster, for lack of a better term.
That's good to know that these little things could turn into torpedo boats.
Yeah.
That's what they use to take out the Ahren, right?
Correct. Yeah. They call them, they're basically harpoons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're harpoons that also can, they're basically, quantum harpoons. Harpoons. They are on the scale of quantum torpedoes.
Oof.
Okay. Would they be just as effective against a starship with shields as a quantum torpedo?
No, but they would probably destroy a ship without shields. Like, almost certainly destroy pretty quickly a ship without shields.
That's good to know. I will file that away for.
They also have energy weaponry that is on scale to not quite the Europa's level, but like a generation older than the Federation technology. So it's not way behind as far as the weaponry goes. So they're substantial powered ships.
Would I be able to get the enough information that we could modulate our shields against it, at least temporarily?
Yeah, it wouldn't be that. The technology isn't that different from Federation technology, so yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to do. It wouldn't. Again, it wouldn't. They probably have the same capabilities as far as modulating goes. So, sure. If you're cycling your shields, they can probably cycle their phasers also. So.
Sure, but it might give us an advantage at least for a time.
It probably provide a temporary advantage. Yeah.
Okay. Scylla will lean over and look over Tom's shoulders as we're both doing our own scans, and she says, "You're pretty good with that scanner there."
Oh, it certainly comes in handy.
Did you find anything interesting?
Yes, I did. Look at this here. This goes to that organic component over there. That looks like one of the organs that he'd list off some scientist he was chatting up earlier.
Right.
It was, mentioned in the Ahren, and this seemed that organ seemed to produce this sort of fluid, or at least what this derivative fluid is based off of, and that goes over here, and that ties into this electroplasma assembly, and then it looks like they've constructed their ships and created some sort of synthetic organic components to be able to, well, essentially work the way the Ahren do. It's incredible.
She just smiles and crosses her arms for a moment while she listens, and she says, "You're cute when I have no idea what you're saying."
Blushes bright red.
Well,
And then this bypass system is incredibly elegant. You would think integrating two different, like, mechanical systems and organic systems. I mean, when we're looking at, and he goes on, like he nervously dives into a rant.
Okay, Tom. Do we have what we need? Have we plugged the leak? Gotten the information we need?
Oh yeah, I finished that like half an hour ago.
That's my boy. Well, then what do you say we get back to the ship?
He will stand up proudly and turn to whoever looks like they're in charge or paying attention. We have fixed your leakage problem. Everything should be good to go now.
I see. Moments, please. And he grabs a scanner and goes and starts scanning. Oh, it is very well done. This should hold for some. Yes, this is very good. And then
That's Starfleet quality right there.
he looks at you and pats you on the shoulder. Excellent, excellent. You come now, come. And they begin ushering you back towards the ship.
Okay. We'll go.
It's glad to see somebody appreciate fine craftsmanship.
You get back to the runabout, and as you arrive at the runabout, you see that there are a number of their little people that are leaving the area quickly. They have clearly been doing their own deep investigation.
Fair's fair, she'll think to herself.
You board ship, and there doesn't appear to be anything out of place. But yeah, there's a lot of footprints.
Sure.
Well, they actually managed to get into the ship.
Yeah, they were actually.
Don't we have security features for that?
There are, in fact, security features for that, but there are footprints inside.
So I will do a quick scan just to see if I can get an idea of we don't have to worry about the exact details, but sure. I would like to note what they may have found out just for the intelligence logs.
Sure. Yeah. They seem to have spent a particular amount of time focusing on the giant box in the middle of the room, which is the transporter, the replicator system, and your weapon systems.
Okay.
Yeah, Tong's gonna do a full diagnostic on this ship now.
Yeah.
Just to make sure there's no sabotage. Silva will also, the two of them can be working shoulder to shoulder on that.
Yeah. As you're flying back, you do the probably level 3 diagnosis.
Did you forget to lock the airlock? I'm pretty sure we locked the airlock.
We did. They're inventive little buggers.
There was definitely a breach in your system. The ship notes the breach, but doesn't appear to. The security system doesn't appear to have the fail safes appear to have been bypassed. It looks like it was a pretty masterful piece of hacking.
Silva will shrug. They're better with technology than they're let on.
Apparently. Very interesting.
It does note that the biometric the biometric security feature was bypassed by lieutenant by Silva with a 92% probability of it actually being correct. So they may have taken some.
So they hacked the biometrics.
They may have taken, they may have taken some DNA when they were scanning the ship and whatnot. DNA is so easy to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah. She'll note in her pad that advise for future contacts we switch to a dual purpose we eschew the biometrics and do a dual increased security measures.
Right. Two-factor authentication from going forward.
Right.
I had to pull out your phone. Do you want to open the door? Yes.
Yes. Oh, God. Contact Europa. Yes, open the door, please.
Would you like to start the engine? God damn it. Every single thing.
But yeah, there doesn't appear to be any damage done. Your diagnostic comes back as clean. There's no, you got that the biometrics was how they hacked it, but there's nothing out of place. Nothing was added. Nothing was removed.
No bombs.
No bombs. You know, they appear to have done a relatively non-invasive, like you were in their ship, they were in your ship. It's a fair game kind of deal.
Yeah.
So,
well, is there anything more we want out of that scene?
All right. Back to wherever you guys want to go. I don't have a whole lot else for tonight. That was the majority of the getting the information. We jumped the shark on a lot of the information by just making the roll and giving the information, which is fine. No problem with that. I'm just not sure where else to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you guys want to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I think we do is talk about potential trade. That's something that's done on First Contacts as well. Is there anything they need? Is there anything we might be able to offer them in the long term? I'm sure that would be left for the majority. That would be left for the diplomats, but it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Right.
And I think it comes down to how long this first contact is going to be. I don't know if that's something we want to discuss, like
you get the distinct
at this first feast, but if we're going to be here and interacting with these people for a week, let's set up some sort of information exchange, cultural exchange, see if we can trade, like we have this stuff and you can trade us some Ahren parts or whatever it may be. But going straight into business on the first night seems little.
Yeah, they'll probably, they're going to be here for several days at least, which obviously you guys can be as well. And that's something we can do. Like that is an approach to definitely attack probably between sessions with we'll do it with a roll and set things up with that. This session, like tonight, what you're seeing in this party here tonight appears to be like, this is an all night bender kind of like, we are back on planet. We are celebrating. We've gotten an Ahren. We are celebrating. We are still alive. We are celebrating. We're going to go to war. We are celebrating kind of, kind of party.
Yeah, there's like music and tribal dancing and drinks. And
eventually there does turn into that. Yeah. Everyone goes back outside and the
people pass around a rain stick.
Yeah. A lot of drums. Do
we have to drink in order to avoid offending them? Please say yes.
You are definitely going to be offered a lot of beverages. Whether or not they take offense to you not drinking them is, Ambrose might be offended. Since Ambrose is a peer, he might have to drink, but
does the captain order us to drink?
The captain will not order you to drink. This is where Dasabi would have come in handy. Provide some sort of anti-intoxicant inoculation. Right. No, Ambrose is not a stranger to drinking, so he will try to. He will partake in a reasonable, respectful manner, but being aware of his limits and trying not to pass them.
Yeah. The drink isn't it isn't a super strong. It's not, not dwarven mead or anything like that. It's strong because they're large creatures, but it's not strong
blood wine.
Yeah, it's not. It's it's more of it definitely has more of a mead flavor to it. Like it is distilled from some kind of, again, organic substance that is not. It's not a fermented wheat or grain. It's more like honey or some other kind of nectar. It's sweet and it's very good and it goes down very easy. And they drink a lot of it. They drink like Klingons. It's just not as strong as Klingon stuff.
Would that be something that would come in a standard away mission first aid pack?
An anti-intoxicant?
Yeah.
Well, they point out that there is drugs that, like, if you are drunk, they get you sober. So we could just drink until we need to, and then the intoxicants.
There's probably definitely something that would help sober you up a little faster.
I know in that episode of DS9, they took something beforehand so that they could drink like Klingons.
There's a couple,
but I don't know if we have that just on hand.
Probably, I doubt that would be a standard issue thing. So,
Elizabeth will definitely drink some for fear of offending the hosts.
Yeah.
Whether or not they were actually offended or not is immaterial. She assumes they will. So,
Ambrose will very pointedly tell Varen to keep an eye on everyone because Vulcans don't drink.
Right.
She's our designated
isn't-
driver.
Mills is not drinking either because she's on duty and security.
Right.
Very good.
The other security guards don't seem to hold that same mentality. They're not drinking to
Mills
excess.
is giving them all sorts of side eyes.
Yeah. They're not drinking to excess or anything, but go ahead, Brian.
Elizabeth will talk to Mills. She's going to go, come on, you got to have something. You can't. Now, if I drink alone, I'm the weirdo. Please.
You're not drinking alone. You're drinking with the captain.
That's even worse.
It's a bonding
Come on.
experience.
I don't want to bond with the captain. I want to bond with you. Come on. One drink.
We can bond on ship when I'm not on duty and we're not in a place where a wrong gesture could accidentally start a war.
All right. I feel like things have been awkward between us. Is it because I know you hated me?
I didn't hate you. You just stepped on my toes a lot. But we can have that conversation in private too.
I'm sorry. Hage is sorry too.
Well, tell Hage I appreciate it.
He says you're welcome.
At some point in the evening, the ongoing connection that you are obviously forming with Ladon it grows a bit stronger, and you notice my words, Venru gestures to a couple of guards, and after having a conversation with Ladon on their own, like you guys were talking for a while, then he goes off and talks to Venru for a little bit and so on. After a few minutes, Venru pulls out a communicator, or what you assume is a communicator. It looks a lot kind of like the old the old flip phone communicators from Enterprise era, from Next Gen era, you know what I mean, TSO era, TOS area. Kirk's cell phone, pulls it out. Something is said something is said between him and whatever, and then he closes it and gestures for a couple of the guards, and they storm out is a strong word, but leave with purpose. Sometime near the middle of the night.
Okay. Can I
dance?
What's that?
Do they dance? The
Yes.
aliens.
Yes, they do.
Elizabeth will dance with them.
Okay.
But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
do I get any empathic read off of Venru or his cohort?
The guards, they're just again professional. Like, we've been told to go, we're going. The basic read on Venru is it's not anger, but it's verging on anger for sure. Concern verging on anger.
Okay.
Their emotions you get from the majority of of these creatures, these aliens that are down here. Their emotions are pretty strong. Like, they definitely, like, when they feel joy, they feel a lot of joy. When they feel worried, they feel a lot worried. But from both Ladon and Venru, it is definitely more repressed. But you get the impression that they are trained. It's not, you can sense it, but they seem to be definitely trained in controlling their emotions. Like, they're definitely still there, but they're
not psychically repressing them like a Romulan would.
No, they're physically, they're just physically controlling their emotional states.
Yeah, cool.
So, all right. Anybody got anything else?
No. Can't wait to play Opposite That's Hangover, but
yeah. So over the course of the night, the party rages on, and it's very. There are large bonfires. There are a lot of drinking, and around dawn, a lot of the participants begin heading back to their tents, and the servitor class people start moving in. They also celebrated, but a lot of them did anyways. But they appear to be working in shifts, and they're now coming in to clean everything up. And when they clean things up, they clean it like they get cleany. Like the logs that are burnt, they're restacked or they're moved in such a way that there's no everything. It is clearly something that everything has a place, and everything will be in its place when these people wake up again. Kind of situation. Like they're very diligent and very precise in what they're doing. And you definitely get the impression as you're beginning to drift off into being awake too long haze and having a little bit too much to drink. You get the distinct impression psychically that it is very regimented. What they're doing is their emotion is must complete task kind of thing. They're hyper focused on what they're doing. But other than that, there's a very pleasant atmosphere in the camp. The music begins to die down. Throughout the course of the night, it was a very rhythmic type of music. So it's very beat heavy, very drum heavy, and pan flutes, kind of like something similar to pan flutes. But yeah, everything basically is dying down, and it's now becoming early. Many hours have passed. So if you're going to return back to the ship, you can. If you want to try to stay on the planet, you can also do that. I believe you beamed down, so you don't have a ship to go back to on the planet. So.
Yeah, towards the end of this party, I would go over to Ladon. Ladon, it has been an absolute pleasure enjoying your hospitality and the festivities that you have put on. I thank you for the good times we've shared.
It has been my sincerest pleasure, Captain Arani Ambrose. And he reaches out, puts his hand on your shoulder, which you've seen them do. It's not your shoulder, but like almost like your like just above your elbow. It seems to be a greeting that they do. It has been a sincere pleasure to have met you. These worlds are vast, and there is plenty for all. I hope to see you again.
Well, in that line, I would invite you, should you be so pleased, to enjoy my own hospitality, to visit our ship if you have the time during your stay here.
This is something that would interest me greatly. I will have my people contact you, but first I must sleep, and I must deal with Venru and his concerns. I will bring joy to your ship as you have brought joy to our lands, to these lands. Again, I keep saying to these lands.
Very good, my new friend. I'll reach out and do the same, grab his arm. It is time we retire, then. I wish you a restful sleep. We'll be in touch.
Rest well. As you beam out, you see him. You get you get the impression as you're beaming out that he is cautiously hopeful. As you beam out.
All right. Ambrose as well.
Yeah.
And Ambrose heads straight to medbay.
I need to not be drunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Any scenes you guys want to have aboard ship? I assume that you're just getting an inoculation against the.
Is that a scene we would like to have between Ambrose and Dasabi?
Sure.
That
I'm up for it.
Yes.
question: Does it ruin your high like Narcan does?
That's for you guys to roleplay. So Narcan is a drug that's used to
right.
reverse opioids, and it really harshes your buzz.
Yeah.
I mean, really harshes your life for a little while.
Yeah.
So when I beam back on board, I think as soon as I, recorporealize, I'm immediately going to Dr. Dasavi, please meet me in mid-bay.
Yes, Captain.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
And I'll walk in very clearly spending way too much effort trying to he's not like
trashed,
but Starfleet personnel are used to drinking synthahol, and every once in a while they might pop the cork on some actual like fancy stuff that has to be imported Romulan ale or Andorian ale, or everything seems to be ale, even though it's clearly liquor. So he will very almost mechanically walk into the room, but he's quite flush. We had quite a time on the away mission. I'd like to hear how things went up here, but first, I believe I am in need of your medical assistance.
I can see you had quite a time.
Diplomacy.
Things went... You probably should sit down before your diplomacy finds itself on the floor, sir. Kind of smirks. Throw up in my shoes. Rummages around in a drawer. Pulls out a hypo. All right. This, fair warning, might be a bit of a shock. So
it's
jab you with the hypo.
Not my first time having to resort to this.
All right.
Yeah, it probably doesn't do much for the hangover.
No, but we should have electrolytes in a spray, right?
Right.
Let's follow it up with some space Gatorade.
Space Ahren.
And aspirin. Space Ahren.
I'll be feeling that in the morning or in a few hours.
I got you. So rummage around again. Hit you with another hypo. That should clear up any unpleasant after effects.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
That was quite a first contact.
We've gone for many hours.
Very interesting people. That went a lot more smoothly than I expected it to.
Always a good thing.
There are some concerns, however. These people do seem to have a very strong connection to the Ahren, so we must make sure that anytime we are anytime we're in the presence of the Ahren, that we treat them well, stay out of their way, which shouldn't be a problem. But they also seem to be riling for war with the Bishari, that race we heard of. Ambrose would remember the name of the rock people.
Lamarian.
Lamarian?
Yep.
The race the Lamarians warned us about. They seem to have ventured into this territory. So we should keep an eye on them, and we should keep an eye on how these, I think they referred to themselves as the
D'Jarun Herin, or Herin.
D'Jarun Herin.
I'll give it to you guys in a note shortly.
Yeah. But we're welcome in this space. They don't seem to claim any territory. I simply it provides for them.
Well, that makes our job a good deal easier.
It does. I'm interested in seeing if we can find where that wormhole deposited the Jem'Hadar, the Dominion. I'd like to make sure we know where the border of these Bashari are. I was shown some star charts, and I'm sure we have that information uploaded already. There's definitely things to keep an eye on out here, but it seems we've made, tentatively, a new friend out here.
Oh, good. Jeffrey,
Yes.
would I have been able to get a pinpoint on that wormhole?
No.
Okay. We could not pick up anything in our scans from where we are. We may need to be closer to it, assuming it's still active.
It's likely intermittent. As far as I'm aware, there's only one stable wormhole, and, well, that's DS9.
At DS9.
I think it's very fortunate that we did not bring Kendall on this first contact mission. But I have plenty of reports for her to go over, and it seems that these people will be in system for quite some time. I invited their leader, Rena Ladan, to enjoy the hospitality of this ship. So perhaps she can be part of that delegation.
All right. In the Valley of Plenty Scientific Notes document, I have added information that you would have gained from this episode.
Okay.
Some information that you would
Thank
have gained. It is not complete.
That's. No, I'm certain she'll be happy to have an opportunity to meet them. Hopefully, we can show them as rousing hospitality as they showed us.
Well, perhaps not as rousing, but a pleasant stay at the very least. I understand everything went well with the engineering assistance we provided.
Yes, I presume you guys gave me a report.
Yeah, including the reports about what we found out on the slide.
Okay. Yes, they were able to fix the leak. It does seem sort of as we suspected, they are using whatever it is that allows the Ahren to warp as their fuel for their ships. They also have some incredibly devastating harpoons, for as almost rudimentary as they seem. The shot that we saw that took the Ahren down would do about the same to a ship, that as long as it didn't have its shields up. Something to definitely keep in mind.
Yes.
Their technological prowess is also, again, impressive for as comparatively simple as they seem. They managed to bypass, as far as we can tell, all of the security measures on the runabout, gained access inside, bypassed the biometrics.
That is concerning.
It is.
We should make sure to do a complete diagnostic of any of our sensor systems and communication systems, make sure that they're not attempting any sort of remote hacking.
Indeed.
I would be surprised if they are, but it seems they are capable of doing so. We should see to it that, I feel like this is one of the benefits to having an AI on board. We can broach that with what's his name?
Foxwell.
Foxwell. We can
Foxwell.
broach that with Foxwell and Eva. Perhaps they can provide additional counter cyber combat expertise.
Will do.
I think there's a lot we can learn from these people. Hopefully in the coming days and weeks, we can exchange information, culture, technologies. Cautiously optimistic.
Good.
I think that's good.
Yep. That's everything else they want to do, or do you want to wrap up there?
Seems like a good stopping point.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's see. What moment stands out most to you this evening?
I think them being able to hack into the ship. The runabout.
Yeah, I liked I liked Elizabeth just going all out. Like, yeah, you know what? Party time.
There were a lot of good cinematic moments in my mind theater today. The hunting of the Ahren, the party.
I loved the chemistry between Silva and Tom.
That scene was darling.
Yeah.
I like that. What did you or your character learn today? Lots there.
Lots there. Yeah. We learned all about them.
Everything.
What did you see from the character or player that you would like to see more of in the future? I would like to see more of the interaction between Silva and Tong, but that's been an ongoing. I want to see more of. But that was pretty good.
I want to see more where the Kendall arc is going.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
definitely more between Kendall and D'Jarun and seeing the two sides of that mom coin, commander coin.
Right. I'd like to see where that goes next. I will say that we can, if we go to the back, the who best embodied their character or what role playing moment stands out most, which is a very similar question. I feel like D'Jarun got tangled up in the commander crew member mom situation. And I don't know, Evelyn, you seem like you were off guard in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was not, but D'Jarun was.
Okay. So I liked that, and I'd like to see how that develops, because I feel like D'Jarun, I feel like that was a departure for D'Jarun. I feel like D'Jarun is normally very confident in what she's doing, and she knows, and she's solid. So I think that was a little bit of a departure, and I'd like to see how that plays out.
I'm gonna put this out here. If it ends up being decided that it's untenable for Kendall to stay on the ship, I don't mind writing her out of the campaign. I mean, like, I'm enjoying her as a character, and I think she's got an interesting arc coming up. But I just want to say, don't feel we have to bend over backwards to keep her in the game. I can always create another NPC. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but I don't think it'll necessarily come to that. I think we'll see how it goes organically.
Yeah, I'm seeing it going a number of different ways. I was just saying that one's on the table.
We might have I might have an idea for something we can do later that would add some additional drama to the situation. So we'll discuss that later. But I don't see her having to go anywhere anytime soon. So
sure. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
I did really like that scene though with Kendall and D'Jarun and then bringing Ambrose in, because Jack, was ready to shoot down Kendall hard as Ambrose. But Kendall actually handled that real well, and Ambrose resonated with that and, didn't give in, but is definitely leaning into that situation. Right. And then on the other side of the coin, kind of had to come down a little bit on D'Jarun. Stop being mom, you're commander now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I liked the notion that by Kendall refusing to seek any kind of help, that she is potentially jeopardizing her career. And I like that. That is a conversation that I think would be really fun to have with Kendall at some point.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to see how she reacts to it, and if she steps up or doesn't.
It would be interesting to have another, counseling scene between Kendall and Renewal, if that's something that she would do.
Yeah,
I'd be up for that, but I would say I do think it'd also be interesting to see Ambrose involved in that too.
Yeah,
because he's one of the few people who could understand what she's going through, just in terms of having telekinetic powers and not having them anymore.
Yeah.
So
when we go off air, I have an idea that I'll bring up with you guys and see how you float it. What? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do we? This isn't quite answering the question, but I do want to put it out there as a general wish, kind of.
Yeah.
I would love to see us have to join one of these hunts at some point, like circumstances.
I have that plan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a plan.
I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have a lot more to go with this group of these Herins, and there are other Herins out there that you guys will encounter. So
I understand now.
What Herin means?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the tribal confederation. Yeah. I was trying to explain that earlier and I didn't really get it. And so I put it in the notes, and
that helps. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. And feel free to ask questions. You guys know a lot about these people now, and you're going to be spending a week with them.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn a lot. And I'm going to put in I'll probably put it up Friday. Trying to think what day is actually available, but in the show notes, in the show Bible, I'll have what you guys know of them.
Awesome.
If you could change one thing about the session, what would it be? Mine would be that I had 2-3 technical failures in the middle of the show, which I don't understand because everything was running perfectly.
I would have loved to see somebody get drunk with Yezebel.
With Chirka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got anything?
I would like to see. I would like to have more time as Varen, but it made sense that Ambrose was, my main character in that scene. So she was just in the background with her scanner scanning everything possible.
Right.
But in the future, when Ambrose doesn't have to be there, I think Varen would be perfect for this specific.
Right.
I would love to see more of Varen's interpersonal reactions, like not just what she does on the job, but like who she is. Would love to see more.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Vulcan. She is her job.
Right.
But that's not true.
No, I know.
The show, they're all very different. But I would love to get more of an idea of what Varen is.
Yeah. I love playing Vulcans. I really want to play my previous Vulcan from your game again. I really the stories I could have told with him. Anybody else have anything else they want to add? Evelyn, do you have anything you want to change about the session?
Not really anything that's changeable. I had a really frustrating afternoon, and it took me out of that, yay, I'm excited to play, into I have no spoons, only flamethrowers, and had a bit of a time really getting into things today.
Yeah, I was the exact same way. There are no spoons. There is no spoons, only Zool.
You were both delightful to play.
Well, thanks. I did find it eventually, but
okay.
Yeah. I'm just good at faking it. So I don't have anything else.
I know all about that.
Yeah. I don't have anything else unless you guys have anything else you want to add. I think we can go ahead and call it a night.
Yeah.
All right. So just to wrap things up, check us out on Patreon. I've got a couple Patreon subscribers now. I have to actually thank them, and give me 1 second. I will try to talk over myself while I'm finding my Patreon because I lost it. Patreon. I lost it. I don't know where it's at, but that's on me. I owe them an apology. Clicking this button now. Taking my sweet time about this. I don't know. Okay, it's not working. So anyway, I do owe 2 Patreon subscribers a shout out. I will give them that at the beginning of next episode instead of the end of this one. other than that, I said there's a new show out called Against Boredom. The first episode was released today. There are some technical issues in that one too, but that was done live, and there was some drinking involved. So, yeah, it was a good show. I like Chris from I Am Dynamite did a great job, so I'm glad he came on. And I got some more of those coming out soon. Again, every other week for that one, just because I don't have time to do them other than that. Yeah, if you want to give one last shout out to where they can find you, Jack.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can find me over at my own channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, and over on YouTube, youtube.com/ a whole string of numbers and letters. But if you would like to help me make that youtube.com/The People's Ascension, go over and give me a subscribe over there. That's the metric they use. Go over and hit that subscribe button over there so I can get enough followers over there to get a nice, simple youtube.com/The People's Ascension. There's a lot of great stuff over there. Not much going on Twitch right now. I am working on setting up the 3rd season of RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it is to learn a new TTRPG. But you can find all of the previous seasons of that show over on YouTube, as well as a number of fun little series that we've done before. And the most recent thing I did was the Cyberpunk charity stream for Ukraine that is also up on the YouTube. You can go check that out if you want to see some really fun cyberpunk mayhem. It was an amazing show. We raised $300, which got quadrupled to $1,200 for a great cause. Go check out Roll versus Evil. That was founded by some of the founders of Modifius, obviously, who made Star Trek Adventures here. So go look at them. That's Roll versus Evil. Go support them if you can. Because they're a great cause.
Yeah. I saw you had that show going on. I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't unfortunately have time to go check it out. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I plan on doing a number more charity streams because it was very successful. We raised a lot of money. I met a lot of new people. We had a lot of people in chat, and it was just such a fun time because we got the audience involved with charity buys. So when you donated, it would unlock various things that would happen in game, like weapon drops or special ammo or me making things more difficult. So yeah, I will be sure to announce when I'm doing my next charity stream because it was a ton of fun.
Awesome. The 2 patrons, I will give them a shout out now. It's Thomas Moore and Brian Kruger. So thank you guys for following, for liking us on Patreon. I got more stuff coming out for that. Yeah. And the backlog episodes of Europa are all done and should be uploading tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm way backlogged on all my stuff. So, that's it for me. So long and thanks for all the fish.
That-